The clock ticked past midnight. Naomi sat alone, bathed in the pale glow of her monitor. A long deadline loomed. She rubbed her tired eyes, the silence of her workspace broken only by the hum of the computer. She wondered if she could keep going, the weight of exhaustion pressing down on her. Then she heard it. A whisper, soft and indistinct, like a breath against her ear. Her mind raced, trying to make sense of it. She froze, heart pounding. "Hello?" she called out, her voice shaky. Was it just her imagination? Silence. She brushed it off as fatigue, the stress of work playing tricks on her mind. But a part of her couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Turning back to her computer, she tried to focus. But the incident left her with an unsettling feeling, a prickle of unease on her skin. She questioned if she was pushing herself too hard. The next day, she couldn't shake off the memory of the whisper. It gnawed at her, making her question her sanity. It lingered in the back of her mind, a disquieting echo in the quiet moments. She wondered if she should talk to someone about it. As she left work that night, she glanced back at her workspace, half expecting to see someone, standing in the shadows. Her thoughts were a jumble of fear and curiosity. There was nothing, but the unease remained. She couldn't help but feel that the whisper was a sign, a warning of something yet to come. Days turned into weeks, and the strange occurrences continued. Whispers became voices, faint murmurs that seemed to slither from the walls themselves. They were familiar voices, voices she thought she recognized, but she couldn't place them. A name here, a snippet of conversation there, all twisted and distorted, just beyond the realm of comprehension. One evening, as she was organizing files, she heard a voice call her name. It was her mother's voice, clear as day, laced with concern. "Naomi, are you all right?" She spun around, heart leaping into her throat. There was no one there. The room was empty. Fear gave way to confusion. Was she imagining things? She'd always been a pragmatist, someone who relied on logic and reason, but these experiences defied explanation. She tried to rationalize them, to find a logical explanation, but the voices persisted, chipping away at her composure, her sense of reality. Naomi found herself questioning her own mind. Was she losing her grip on reality? She had always prided herself on her mental fortitude, but now doubt crept in. She thought of her mother, the warmth of her voice, the comfort it used to bring. But now it was a source of fear, a reminder of how fragile her sanity had become. Naomi resolved to get to the bottom of this. She couldn't let fear control her. She would find the truth, no matter how unsettling it might be. As the voices grew bolder, so did the shadows. What were once fleeting glimpses at the edge of her vision morphed into discernible figures lurking in the periphery. They were tall and shadowy, their features indistinct, obscured by the darkness that clung to them like a shroud. She tried to focus on her work, to lose herself in the mundane tasks of her job, but the figures were a constant distraction, appearing and disappearing at will, their presence a suffocating weight on her chest. Naomi wondered if she was losing her mind. The line between reality and hallucination blurred. She couldn't tell if she was truly seeing these things or if her mind was playing tricks on her. Naomi's thoughts raced, questioning her sanity. One night, as she was working late, she felt a cold breath on the back of her neck. Her heart pounded as fear gripped her. She whipped around to see a dark figure standing inches away from her. Naomi's mind screamed for her to run, but her body was frozen in place. Its eyes, two glowing embers in the darkness, seemed to pierce through her, sending a shiver down her spine. Naomi felt an overwhelming sense of dread, questioning if she would ever escape this nightmare. Terror choked her. She stumbled back, knocking over her chair in her haste to get away. The figure remained unmoving, its gaze fixed on her. "Am I losing my mind?" she wondered, fear gripping her heart. She scrambled to her feet and ran, her breath catching in her throat, her heart pounding against her ribs. "I can't stay here," she thought, panic rising. She didn't stop running until she reached the relative safety of the brightly lit street outside. "What was that thing?" she questioned, her mind racing. Trembling, she looked back at the building, at her workspace, a single light burning in the darkness. Is this real or just a nightmare? She asked herself. Had it all been real? I can't tell anymore, she thought, doubt clouding her mind. Or was her mind unraveling, surrendering to stress and exhaustion? I'm so tired, she admitted, feeling the weight of her exhaustion. The lines were becoming increasingly blurred, and she no longer trusted her own perceptions. What's happening to me? She wondered, fear and confusion mingling. As she walked away, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that the shadows were following her, waiting for the moment to claim her. I need to get out of here, she resolved, her steps quickening.